Songwriter says, there is something on your mind. By the way you look at me, there is something on your mind. By the way you look at me. There, I got a remix for this song.
What?
I got a remix song. You getting on my nerves by the way that you think. You niggas getting on my nerves. All right, that's all I got. Sadly, I don't know the rest of the song.
I don't know I've never heard that song before in my life.
Oh man, you've never seen the movie Nothing to Lose?
Who does it have in it?
Martin Lawrence, I almost said Tim Williams, Tim Robbins.
What was the premise of the movie?
Oh man, the premise of the movie. If I tell you, then the people who didn't see it is gonna ruin it.
Not the whole premise. I'm just saying, in one sentence?
Man comes home to find out he gets cheated on. He decides that he's...
Oh, I think I did. I have seen that movie. I never knew what it was called.
Yeah, you saw when he was in the bar, he had like 20 shots.
I don't know about all that.
Oh yeah, you remember the chick
It's been a while.
Was at his job that wanted to sleep with him and all that other stuff, and it was like right before that scene where he was like, I can't do it, no.
Not Martin Lawrence, but the other man, right?
Yeah, the Tim guy.
I need to rewatch that movie.
Yeah, you need that. That movie's funny.
It sounds familiar, but
oh shit, I done moved a hand. Yeah, you need to watch that movie. That movie's amazing. These guys are legends, man.
They are.
Legends. Jeez, legends.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, Don J, Yvette Renee, man, let's get this episode started. 3, 2, 1. This is Don J.
And you're Yvette Renee.
And this is Redemption Hospital. Sometimes you got to recognize that you're the reason for your own failures.
And that dream partner you want is only attainable if you fix your mindset.
We've both had failures and heartbreak that drove us close to desperation.
But with prayer and education, we found each other and knew that this was what God destined for our lives.
Our job is to teach you the fundamentals to becoming a great partner so you can lay down a foundation for that person that you really want in your life. After all, we believe that if God was through with you, he would have called you home by now.
So sit back and enjoy some laughs, inspiration, and education on Redemption Hospital.
And we're back. Straight like that.
Back like we never left.
Yeah, man. All right, so today's episode is brought to you by... We don't have any sponsors, so yeah, there's that.
By us.
It is by us. Until we get sponsors, All right, let me get into the basics, man. So, Ann, I got a question for you because everybody wants to know.
I'm listening.
What qualifies a modern day woman of today's time? Modern day woman as being a good woman. Pop the bubble for all these people who will have these skewed personas of themselves.
There's a couple things that qualify a woman as a good woman. No one is perfect, right? So let's look at it from the aspect of you're a man and you're looking for a good quality woman. Mm-hmm. What does a good quality woman look like? So let me ask you first, right? Mm-hmm. So you've met a woman that you like.
Uh-huh.
What is the most important thing for you? You've had past relationships. She's had past relationships. What do you think is an important, it's not necessarily quality, but what's important for her? Where should her mind be at that point?
I'm actually glad you said mind, because coming from a man who's had experiences in relationships, you get past the body part, right? Mm-hmm. It's always going to be...
Everybody has a body in some shape or form.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? And it's like, for many men, it's kind of weird. As you can tell, as men get older, You'll see marriages with men. You'll see a fit guy with a average woman. You'll see a big guy with a skinny woman. You'll see a fit guy with a big woman. And like, as you get older, you start to see these different relationship dynamics. And the reality is, when we're younger, we don't like to admit it, but we liked, what we liked at the time because it was Fantasy Island. We saw something on TV. I want that. As you get older, you're like, I need her mind to be right. I'm glad you mentioned her mind. So you're asking me what I'm looking for from a woman. If I met her, I've had experiences. She had experiences, correct?
The number one thing.
Her mind got to be right, bro. Like, it has to be right. And the reason why I say that is because back when I started dating after I, got through my divorce and all that stuff, I was able to see how broken, the dating pool is. God bless you all who are single right now. Jesus have mercy. But when you understand yourself enough, you've sat enough with yourself, you understand the mindset and the mentality of yourself. You're not willing to accept anything less. And I've done the marriages where I've dumbed myself down or I've devalued myself down to where they think that I'm on their level, but I'm literally just trying to make myself a little less than so that I can get what I want out the relationship. It doesn't last long. It doesn't last forever. So the number one thing I'm looking for in her mind is she got to be sane. Like, you have to be sane. And I hate to say it this way, guys, but the same way that a lot of women will test you, you got to do the same thing, bro. And I said this before in the past, my personal Luminous Horizon podcast is you want to see if a woman is truly for you, give her everything she's asking for and then let her down hard one time. Literally let her down hard one time. Prime example, you see her all the time, you go on a date, you guys are going on dates, you're going on this, you're going on this, you're going on this. I hate that this might sound toxic, but unfortunately you have to test her to see. You go on a date, there's two ways to do this, right? After you've been dating for some time, just plan a date out and just forget. Forget. She doesn't know, you forget, right? You may call it flaking. The very next day when you speak to her, you bring up your apology. I am so sorry. That was not my intention. I slept. I this, whatever, right? Make it extremely sincere. The way you know that she's for you is if the dynamic didn't change. If she can easily forgive you for making a small mistake like forgetting, then she's good. Her mind, her mentality is good. If you call her, she don't call you back, she do this and all that. I'm sorry that this might sound like a bad example, but this is why I say this is something that you've already been doing. You've been dating already. If she's like, okay, I can forgive this man, that's one huge test. I'm telling you, because the pride test will be, oh, I ain't calling him back. I ain't got to see him no more. I get a new man. I get a new nigga. If she has that, I'll get a new nigga mentality. Trust me when I tell you, she'll have a new nigga when you do something small. You'll be in a whole marriage, and then you just don't take the trash out one time. I'm gonna hit up Leroy.
Leroy always take out the trash.
Right, he always take out the trash. He worked for the company. Shoot, he can come take my trash out. I had something like that in the past, bro. I'm sitting here like busy scraping. And I'm going hard, man. And she's like, I need a car wash. I'm like, yeah, it's going to get washed on Saturday, right? Comes home, car. I'm like, yo, the car was washed. I'm like, oh, who washed it? Well, my baby daddy works at the car place and, he just took care of it for me. I said, okay, he can take care of the rest too. Hope you take care of your kids. Hope you take care of all this stuff. This, I'm out. But that's how you know, guys. Her mind got to be right. Just saying, her mind has to be right.
But it's so crazy. As women, a lot of our minds are not right and we don't even know it.
How so?
Because you have women out here doing some really crazy things. And in their mind, they feel like they're absolutely justified. In their mind, they feel like they're doing the right thing. Like you have men and women that are in what the man thought is a monogamous relationship. And that woman is out here with a whole mini family on the side. And the man has no idea. But in her mind, she's justified because he did this or he did that or he cheated 10 years ago or whatever the case may be. I think one of the first things that women have to look at before even getting a relationship is yourself. And it's the hardest thing in the world to do is to sit down and say, these are my flaws and this is what I need to work on.
Yeah.
It's easy to look at somebody else and say, well, he's this and he that and he's this and he that. it's not as easy to do it to yourself.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's important for us all to have that journey, and a lot of us have not. So you have people that are out here who are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and have no idea.
Don't even know.
No idea. It's very crazy.
You know, it's crazy. You know, it's crazy. One big test of your own willpower, because I'm glad you said that, because I got a story I need to tell. One big test of willpower in any situation is not getting your way and seeing what you will do. Prime example, there have been plenty of times in my past where I'm like, man, I'm going to eat healthy today. I'm going to eat healthy today. Very healthy. And I go to a spot. I'm like, man, I'm going to Nordelli's. I'm going to get me a, eggplant parmesan or something like that. You know, no carbs, none of that stuff, or, limited carbs, right? Tomato sauce. But I'm like, man, I'm going to get this. And I get there and it's closed. I'm like, man, that ruined my plans. I can't believe it. Not. Well, shit, it's a pizza place right next door. I'm going to have that since they want to close. Now, in your mind, you don't say that, right? Our brains have different justification factors in it.
Yeah.
And in our mind, we're like, oh, well, dang, they're closed, man. But I'm really hungry and I don't know how long I'm going to last. And I have a gig in about an hour. I might as well go get the pizza place. What is 5 slices gonna hurt me? I could have got an extra large. This is stuff we be saying. It's like, bro, stop trying to justify it. You can just be hungry. It ain't gonna kill you. And I've learned that actually through water fasting. If I don't fast, if we don't do a water fast or anything like that in a long time, then we will fall victim to that mentality. Yeah. Not fall victim. We will choose that mentality. But if you more so like, okay, it's fine. Like if a place closes, if we went to Panda Express now and it was closed, like right now, my heart of hearts, I'll be like, well, what you want to eat, Ann? Like, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna be like, it's gonna be Popeyes right now.
It's all Panda Express fault.
Right, it's all Panda Express fault.
That's not how that works.
It's not how that works, man.
How that works.
And then you correlate that to a relationship, and in a more toxic way, that is going to be like the bread and butter of how you treat people. Like you mentioned, women will get into their mode and they're like, well, he cheated on me and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. The reality is this, man, what we don't like to admit, man, that shit was in your heart already.
Yep.
You just need an excuse. And right now you feel like you're overdue. You are 2 years overdue. He was in a relationship. And he's like, well, he wasn't this and well, he wasn't that. Matter of fact, story time, when I got cheated on, one of the things she said was, trying to justify it was like, well, I just needed this and I needed that. And instantly in that moment, I said, I know I'm a communicator heavily. Instantly in that moment, yeah, I am.
He is.
And I'm like, that's not my fault. I don't even care. I don't care because you didn't come to me. That's something that was in your heart. You know what I'm saying? And then her and her other person was in a relationship too. And I was like, well, were they involved with anybody? No, they were on a break. Okay, so y'all both on the bullshit. Then you okay. So y'all, I get it now. And so for me, I understand in relationships, just like we use the food example, I understand in relationships, people like, well, the justification is, I feel like they don't see me, like I really want to be seen, and then this random that I met at the gas station can see me more than my husband can. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's not how that works.
It's not how that works. You just had it in your heart. Like, call a spade a spade. You had it in your heart.
That's just who they are. So women will get into a relationship, pretend to be the good girl, and then when things go awry, or as soon as they get a good excuse, or he's not looking at me hard enough, or he didn't give me a hug today, or he didn't kiss me today, then they go out and get that attention from somebody else and go and cheat. And then their excuse in that moment is, well, you didn't this and you didn't that and you didn't this. No, you were that person.
Yes.
In the beginning, you just tried to hide who you were, because it suited you for whatever reason to be in that relationship. And 9 times out of 10, it's not, oh, I love this person. It's, oh, this looks real convenient right here. Let me go on over here and act like I got some common sense for a little while. And then when things go downhill, that's when you see who people genuinely are. That's when you see their heart. Ooh. That's when you see what they really mean and what they really have going on.
Yeah.
But see, The thing is, women these days, I feel like men and women are the same playing field.
Yeah.
Men are just as trifling as women.
Oh, absolutely.
Women are just as trifling as men.
Yeah.
It didn't used to be like that. People think it wasn't that women weren't as trifling as men. It was that women had enough common sense to not just be out here being trifling like men were. Men had no shame. Men have never had shame.
Ever.
Women, we did, because it's not ladylike, or it used to not be ladylike to be that type of woman. Now anything goes. So that's why now it's like everybody, the whole world is just going crazy, and we're just as bad as men. We always have been. We just had more class back in the day.
Oh, and breaks the internet. Now, the crazy thing is, I've been collecting or collaborating with people, you know, on the low, right? Just to see if we could do like a live episode. And one of the craziest things I've heard on like a mini collaboration that wasn't posted is women have always been this way, but they just have the okay and they go ahead and do it.
Yep.
Right? Now, the craziest thing is, this is why, like we talk about the Bible all the time, this is why anything that is good is always praised. Because we were born in a sin. You were born wanting that taste and like, oh my gosh. I know women who have grown up and they were virgins. And for some strange reason, they're like, they have a taste for the bad boy. They ain't never had sex a day in their life, but they got a taste for the bad boy. He just has something. There's just something about him. I got a taste for him. Yeah. And the reality is, being born into sin, it's recognizable. You know what I mean? I can't recognize good all the time. I have to see it, study it, understand it, meditate it, and do. So that's why it's praised when you're good. Now, on the very opposite spectrum, you're absolutely right. Men were, man, if you be a hoe, you be a hoe. You man, he out there doing his thing. He out there, and no one ever talks about the toxic process of how we get there. Every man, I do believe, almost every man starts off as a good man, as a good boy.
Yeah.
Right. The turning point is just based on your tolerance level. So one boy could have been in high school and got his heart broken by 5 chicks and just like, man, this is crazy. Just, oh, you know, I'm just going to the gym. I ain't got nothing to do. I ain't going on no dates. Gets the awesome body and is just flossing on so many chicks. Right. One kid was 12 years old. And, you know, he brought this little flower, this dandelion, to a girl, said, these are my weeds. Look. Or she, as he thought was a flower, she said, oh, this is a weed. And he got his heart broken then. He's like, I ain't never going to do that again. And he saw that the bad thing was working for him. So, and then some men, when they're 40, when they're 45, some men when they're 60, unfortunately. But the reality is, we've never gotten a social repercussion for being hoes. And the unfortunate aspect of that is it made women feel like they were trapped. And so if a woman gets into a marriage and she's with a man who is wanted and he decides that he didn't want to be a hoe, all these stories you hear about, I get it. But at the same time, I don't. A woman's with a millionaire. He's built his lifestyle up. And woman, you know, the other woman comes to the house and says, you know what your husband doing? He's doing this, he's doing this, he's doing this, he's doing this. And that woman folds her arms. She say, baby, you think you gonna be the last? You think you the first? He been doing this for years. He is my man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because it's always been a, don't do that, bad baby. Yeah. It's never been a, all right, I'm gonna give you some repercussions for being a hoe within this marriage. And so now that women are like, well, I'm gonna face the same thing. If you look at it from a spiritual side, the problem's gonna be that I don't agree with the whole fairness thing. But women are more so destructive in how they do it. Because it's an incubation thing. Like Miles Monroe is one of my favorite speakers, like to this day, God rest his soul. He said, a woman takes what you give her, she incubates it, and then she multiplies it and gives it back to you. And so if a woman just fell head over heels, right, she didn't know, she was attracted to the sinful nature because she was born into sin. If she's attracted to that and she gives into that, she takes that man in as her leader. The ultimate form of submission is going to be opening your soul to somebody in sex, which is why I can't understand how women be like, oh, I'm not submissive. I'm not this. I'm not this. But you laid on your back with your legs wide open. that he's the most ultimate form of submission you can ever give somebody. Psychologically, you're telling this person and you're telling yourself, I trust them with everything in my being. You think you just laying down and having sex and having fun. You are psychologically and spiritually opening yourself up to say, I trust this person. So when that person breaks your heart, the woman then incubates that brokenheartedness, especially if there's no example or if there's no explanation as to why he did what he did anyway, because he was just busting a nut. So now you've incubated a man who was temporary, and you take that and you multiply it to every other man you have. And so women saying like, oh, I have a body count of like 250. You're like, God dang, boy, 250. And it's hard to get rid of one. Can you imagine what type of nightmares you have with that many soul ties? When you fall asleep, you must see the devil as soon as you close your eyes. Like there's, you know what I'm saying?
But I think for some who are heavily damaged, I feel like in ways their mind resembles, when it comes to sex, it resembles that of a man. So for them who have such a high body count, I don't think they're not thinking of it from a woman perspective. It's not womanly to them anymore. They're thinking about it from a man's perspective. Yeah. I'm just going to feel okay for a couple hours, and then when I'm done with you, that's it. I do think it's possible for a woman to have that same mentality. Men think it's so impossible. It's not. There's a lot of women out here who do feel that way. They will get with you just to have sex, just so I can feel better about myself for a couple hours, and then don't remember your name tomorrow and don't care. Wow. It's very possible. I want men to stop thinking that's not possible. It is very possible.
Okay.
Is it right? No, I don't think it's right from either side, but it's possible.
I was one of them. I was like, man, no way, boy. But so what, from a woman's perspective, I know you don't have that experience, but from a woman's perspective, you've had past traumatic experiences. So like, I'm assuming a sexual experience with somebody you don't know who's another person is like, it starts off great and it ends in traumatic. From a woman's perspective, dealing with traumatic experiences, how can a woman just think like a guy and just boom, 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 boom?
Because you turn off what leads us a lot as women is our emotions. But when you are so hurt and so broken, those emotions can be turned off. I feel like when God gave us emotions, he didn't do it to punish us. He did it because he knew in some situations it was beneficial for somebody out of a man and a woman relationship to have emotions. Yeah. He knew two people without emotions wasn't gonna fare well. So somebody had to have some emotions. Yeah. But I think it's just one of those things where it could be turned off. You're not thinking about it. They're still there, but they're pushed so far back in the back of your mind because you're not thinking about that. You're thinking about hurt. You're thinking about hurting as many people as you can. You think about sleeping with that girl, man, because she look a little bit too happy over there. No. You think about sleeping with that married man because you don't like her just because she cute. It's just it's very weird, but they can be turned off. They have to be dealt with later on for sure. They don't go anywhere, but it can be blocked out of a woman's mind for a certain period of time.
I did not know that. I didn't know that, and it's crazy because I'm thinking back, and it's the weirdest part of it is right because we're getting back on point with the good man, good woman, because I got something for you men for sure. But thinking about women who can think like that, the part that trips me up is the negating of understanding that whoever you're with will leave you. You know what I mean? I think if you want to be that, if you want to do that, like for instance, and we're going to talk about this in the next episode, but when you talk about a woman who knows she doesn't want to be with you, but she's going to gain some benefits, I'm sorry. To me, that seems like such a prostituted way to live. And the reason being is I've never been with somebody where I'm like, I'm going to waste your time for a little bit of time. Like, and actually like going to like, you can't, and this is crazy because this is the men who beg like, please, can we have sex for a year? Bro, you made a prostitute. And the reason why I say that is because there's no way that you would have me sitting here eating you out like, well, I don't really like her like that. She ain't really doing it for me, but she got good money. What person can do that? a prostitute.
Yeah.
They can go in, oh, this guy, man, his nuts kind of wrinkly. Oh, man, he kind of fat. Like, you know what I mean? I'm going to do what I got to do. So if a person is not necessarily with you, it's kind of crazy. And I wonder if this is the correlation my brother always talks about, refusing to be intimate with a person is a form of prostitution. I think like psychologically, or I think it's starting to connect the dots for me. Because if you don't put yourself in a person's shoes, right? Oh, I'm going to reject you. Oh, I don't really want to be with you. Oh, etc. If you were to say that outright, the other person will feel that, and then their dynamic would change, and you wouldn't get the same person anymore. Mm-hmm. And so I just don't understand as a human. Maybe you can touch up I'll touch up on this. I don't understand as a human how you can be with somebody and marry somebody literally for years and be like, well, I don't know. And then you're like broken within a relationship because the one guy you were cheating on or something happened and, that person moved on, or you don't know, you don't have the fantasy, right? You look at the whole Will and Jada situation. It's like you've been torn up ever since Tupac died. It's like, bro, like I'm right here, the guy who's leading your damn life, And I think that's like an extreme form of prostitution, but I got to get your thoughts on it.
I think that is the highest form of selfishness. Yeah. It's, I'm going to be with this person. I love them, I guess. They're cool. They give me some fun times. They have money. They have a house. So I'm gonna get in the situation and see what happens. But they go in it knowing that they're not 100% there. Mm. But they still go in it anyway because it's beneficial at the moment. So they get in it, living life, been together for a couple of years. But then you see something you really want, something that you wanted from the beginning. But this situation over here was just a little bit convenient and it was good timing. So instead of not getting into that situation and waiting for what you really wanted, you went for that man who you really don't want because it's all about benefit. So it's very much selfishness. Some people they're not able to give 100% love because they don't know how. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's that's the problem most of the time, is that this person you want. That's why it's so careful. You have to be so careful about who you're with and who you lay with and who you have children with, because you're going to find most people aren't able to give you what you need. And nobody's going to ever be able to give you 100% of what you need. But some people can't even give 30 or 20 or 10 because they don't even know how they love themselves. So how they can possibly love you? Right. You get what I'm saying?
I think people don't know. And it's funny because whenever I go through situations that are like really strenuous, I'll hear from God and God will be like, focus on us. Focus on us. Like, seriously, focus on us. And from a toxic perspective, you'd be like, well, I'm going to focus on God and you ain't got to do nothing. God going to do everything for me. It's not what it is. God has moments where he works on people in your life. And you choosing, if two people had, like if Ann and I had an argument, we're like, you know what, cool. She's going to go in the closet and pray. I'm going to go in the closet and pray. The only way I can bring apologies to her is the simple fact that I prayed and God was like, brah, 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 brah. It was you, Deke. So I'm like, okay, well, time to humble myself. I'm not that much of a broken leader where I'm just like, well, she's just going to get this meal. That's my sorry. And you want to go to eat? Like, our parents and everybody. But, and there's no shade to anybody. But I think people who don't know how to give, they know how to receive barely. They don't even know how to do that. Yeah. Because a person in a toxic cycle, when God tells me to focus on him, I'm like, okay, so I know. And he'll say, I want you to read the book of Romans for like this month. And I want you to do this. And I'm like, okay, cool. Mm-hmm. And it'll pertain to my life. Crazy enough, like that, we were talking about the whole Matthew thing. Mm-hmm. And, the investment, how, we talked about it. But when I have these conversations, I'm led to where I need to be. And then that teaches me how to love, how to give that. Yeah. And so I always tell people to give what you're looking for. And one of the biggest problems that people have in relationships, is they don't know how to give what they're asking for. Mm-hmm. And so guys will be like, I haven't gotten sex in like a year. And in my mind, I'm like, bro, there's no way. There's no way. I know with the deepest part of me, I am attracted to myself. I love my voice. I love myself. I love my body. I love my mind. I love my spirit. I love my attitude. I love my leadership. I love what I do. I love the fact that I'm good with other people. I love the fact that I work so hard. I love the fact that I can take a blank canvas and make it into something. I love myself. So there's no way that I would sit here and look at Ann and be like, I guess I'll, rub her butt a little bit or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I am part reactive to where I can walk into the room and smack her butt and be like, bow, and just walk away, right? To where I'm trying to gauge to see if she's even comfortable enough to do it. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, I guess I'll be selfless because Ann's not in the mood or something like that. So I don't understand how guys can get to that aspect, but it's because I want to give her what I already feel. No, this is another reason why I'll sit here and be like, man, I got to water fast. Or, man, I got to do this. Or, man, I got to do this. Because I know when I'm not doing the things I need to be doing, right, I make me hard, right? She makes her wet. If I know I'm not supposed to be doing the things I'm supposed to be doing, then it's not going to put me in the mindset. And I've been there. It's not going to put me in the mindset where I want to sleep with her. Mm-hmm. And that's a valid thing where a lot of women would be like, well, yeah, I want to sleep with my man, but I'm just, my libido is low. It's because you're not doing something that you really require of yourself.
Yeah.
And so I circle all of that back and go back to, giving what you're looking for. Man, I wholeheartedly believe 100% of every single problem that you have in your relationship, if you knew how to give it to yourself, you'd give it to them. And so people be like, I feel like you don't love me enough. When's the last time you hugged me? Well, nigga, when the last time you hugged me? You know what I'm saying? When the last time you kissed me? My lips sitting right here. I never said no. You can't have this. I never said that. So it's like in those atmospheres where people, use the example of women are cheating because of a good time and they're wasting somebody's time. The reality is you don't know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And for a woman, this is dangerous. Yo, take this from a guy who unfortunately had many experiences. A woman who doesn't know what she's looking for, bro, today I could be Batman, tomorrow I could be Robin. And I know as long as I got the confidence enough, I can get you because you don't know what you're looking for. And the saddest part of that is to the man who wants to lead your life, to the man says, hey, I know you're broken, but I want to see something in you. If you had that much patience to sit down, be humble and say, okay, whatever you're trying to do to help me heal, I'm going to do it because we need community. Stop pulling this stuff. Oh, God going to do it all by himself. Okay. He ain't going to send nobody to help you. He not going to send you to no church. He not going to send you a helpmate. He not going to send you a nice man your way. Okay. So it's your job as a lady to be like, okay, let me figure out what he got going on. And the hardest part is going to be undoing the stuff that you had to learn. Of course, you slept with 30 guys. You really think you get this good guy that it's not going to be hard to listen to what he says? Don't wear that. Stay in the house. Don't pump the gas by yourself. You really think it's not going to be hard to sit there and say, who you talking to? You ain't my daddy. You don't even know your daddy. Not being funny. I'm just saying, you got to trust somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you're just going to keep falling in the same process of falling for, you don't even know. That's crazy to me. You don't even know what you want. I know what I want in a woman. I know Ann is such an amazing woman that if I were to try to find a woman, it'd probably take me 10, 15, 20, literally years to find somebody of her caliber, if I ever do in my life. I know that about her more often and more importantly, because of her almost coming at a complete blank canvas, I know how to shape her. That's something we'll get into later, whereas a woman can go through a bunch of traumatic stuff and create herself a blank canvas and say, I'm open to the right man. But I know how to shape her. And so all of that I say because I'm not going to sit here in a relationship and be like, I'm giving something or play victim, right? Sit on the sideline. And so what that does is it makes me, if I cheat on Ann, I can say it was for selfish gain. I can't blame nothing on her because if she comes to me and says, this is what I want, or she shows me the love, and that's why people push you away too. Oh, that's why people push you away too, because they know if they keep receiving the love from you, they will feel guilty. If they keep receiving that love, they keep receiving you, the man, you paying the bills, you're treating her right. She's having an off day trying to push you away, and you come and you say, come here, I got you, mama. You want to pray together? No, I want to pray. You know that woman's trying to push you away for her own selfish gain, and you cannot be responsible for that, guys. Are you crying right now? Wipe them tears away. You are still a strong man. You don't have to be that man just because she made a decision based on where she was. You are still a good man. You don't have to become a toxic being just to try to attract another woman like her. You don't need to deserve her. She needs to deserve herself after she spent that time with God. I'm going to cap it right there. And going to take the floor.
All right, So we're going to go, this is not an exclusive list, but things that men should look for in a good quality woman. I feel like these are a good starting foundation point. The first one I'm going to say is, I'm not going to say that she doesn't lie. We all lie. Right. But she doesn't have these extravagant, you ask her what color is that, and it's clearly purple, but she says blue. Habitual liars are no. And it's easy to spot. Well, if you're paying attention, it's easy to spot a habitual liar.
Yeah.
We don't do liars. Another thing that's extremely important is making sure that she is not stuck on a past relationship, a past situationship, a past anything, a friend that she liked, but he didn't like her. So she just has this jumbo going in her mind about it. A woman that is still stuck on a man from the past can never give you 100% of her. Ever. If she's still stalking him on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, riding by his house, she see him with another woman and she's upset by it. She hasn't moved on. And most of the time it's not because she still wants him. It's because she's so sick in the head that she doesn't want him to be happy. So that's even bigger of a red flag that you need to move on with your life. And that ain't the one. We don't want to deal with the
Nope.
That was a harsh word.
Nah, it is.
We don't want to deal with the cuckoo.
Yeah. It's a choice. So if you chose to be it.
Right. Another thing that's very important, if she has kids and if she's not able to have a healthy co-parent situation with that man, she's not doing for you. I don't care if she said, oh, he cheated and oh, he made me feel like this and oh, he stopped loving me and oh, da, 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 da. Your kids are very important. When you're single, your kids should be the most important thing in your life, right? Therefore, you know that your kids need their other parent. If you're not able to come outside of yourself to be a big person, be a big girl, and put all your feelings, emotions, hurt, whatever you have going on aside, so those kids can have a healthy relationship with their dad, that's not doing it for you. That's not okay. It's different if he's abusive, don't take care of him, whatever. That's different. But I'm talking about in a normal situation where the man loves his kids, he takes care of his kids, he wants to see them, and you're not able to have a healthy co-parent. No, it's not going to work.
Out.
Not going to work. A woman that is very attention hungry, whether it be in person or on social media. A woman that thrives on attention will never be faithful to you. One man will never be enough. You could post her on social media all you want. It'll never be enough. She's still going to need that attention from another man. You have to be careful about women that demand attention 24/7. I love you to death. You're the most amazing thing to me. But I don't want your attention 24/7. I don't. Because if you have attention 24/7, you're distracting yourself from something. And 9 times out of 10, she doesn't even know what she's trying to distract herself from, so you never will.
Oh, shoot.
So yeah, we're going to leave her alone. A woman that can be led, aka is submissive. Women don't like to be submissive anymore. I don't know why, but it's just, they want to feel like they can run the relationship just like a man can run the relationship. You can't do anything with that. You get with a person that's not submissive, it'll be okay for a little while. But then you'll have that major life circumstance. Hey, babe, I got this amazing opportunity to move to New York and it's going to be better for our family financially. We can go up there. We can buy land. We can do this. We can do that. And you're going to fight her tooth and nail, even though all the ducks are in a row. It all makes sense to everybody in the world. But you're going to have to fight her to get her to do that. I feel like a woman that's not able to be submissive to a man that she's with and has been with, she doesn't believe in you.
Oh.
She can't. You can come to me today and say, hey, there's this opportunity in Africa that if I go, I know that we're going to be set financially. I can make so many investments. There's people out there that will be a support system for me in this business or whatever I'm trying to do. I will be sad because I never been to Africa. I've always lived less than an hour from my family. Like, I would be extremely sad, but I'm going to go without thinking about it twice because I believe in you and I trust you and I know that you wouldn't take me somewhere just to be doing something because I believe in you.
I love it.
What?
That's the one right here. Oh, yes.
A woman that is adaptive, which means she can mold herself into what her relationship needs her to be. Molding yourself in a relationship is not the easiest thing to do, especially when you've been or done something the exact same way your whole life. Yeah. And even if you, and this has happened before, you brought something to me and you like, I don't like this, or I wish such and such and such and such. And in my mind, I'm like, I've been this way all my life and such liked it and such liked it. And it's gotten me this and it's gotten me that. It's like, why don't you like it? And sometimes it hurts because it feels like, well, you're trying to say I'm not good enough, or you're trying to say this, or whatever the case may be. But in the moment, it hurts. But when you sit down and think about it as a healthy person, you're like, that actually does kind of make sense. That doesn't mean it hurts any less. But you have to have the ability to look at yourself and know that the person you are, you're not a whole person. You're not a perfect person. And you just might not be, some things may not be what the person you're with wants. So if you're not able to adapt and adjust situations, attitudes, whatever the case may be, to better suit your relationship, first of all, you don't care. Second of all, you don't love them as much as you think you do. And third of all, it's just not productive to a healthy relationship, which I would hope most people won't.
Can I give an example to that?
Yeah.
So a lot of people and a lot of men on the internet say a woman needs to have mystery and you got to take her out and do this, right? For women that need mystery, right, for a relationship to stay alive and all that crap, my indecisive nature would have worked. Like, oh, we're going to do this. Psych, we're going to do this. Psych, we're going to do this. To her, it's like, oh, this is exciting. To me, I'm just like, I really don't know what to do. I really don't care. Just got to do something because she's here. So I'll stay home and play video games if I could. Yeah. But for Anne, that was not working. And the reason being is the indecisive nature, right? Mystery is a woman needing to know that, or not knowing everything about what's happening. So if you're about to lose the house, she doesn't like it, but secretly she's like, this is exciting. I don't know what's going to happen. We're going to call movers. We're going to do this. It don't work for Anne. It does not work. And so, not that I was doing any of it on purpose, but I did have this very strong indecisive nature. And the craziest thing is my indecisive nature wasn't like, hey, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to sit here and like a brick and just do nothing. I had 10 things I wanted to do, and I said, all right, I'm going to get 20% of information with every last thing, and I'm going to make a decision. That worked for the majority of my life. Like, hell, I've seen much success to that. But Anne was like, no, you need to figure out 100% of one and make a decision between two things, not 20. And so she had a conversation with me, and she told me, you just do things. You just be doing
stuff.
Right. Like, you gotta figure this out. Like, you got to see things through, like, to, she said, when this is the latter, she said, you just got too much on your plate and it all gets done. It'd be different if none of it gets done, but you got too much on your plate. And then I corresponded that with a conversation she had earlier about me being indecisive. And I sat there, and as she was saying it, and it was one of those moments where, like, you're having an argument. So guys, this wasn't like this right here. Our arguments are calm. We might raise our voice to like a 5. And then that's it, like 5 out of 10. But that was a rather calm argument. That was a 1. And tensions were high on her side. Tensions were high on my side. And she just blurted out, I feel like, you've been indecisive. This is one of them times I said, go ahead, baby, speak your mind. Say what you wanted to say. I instantly regretted it. But I could have chosen to be mad at her and try to deflect and make it seem like it was her fault. But I said, "Man, bro, she's right." And so the indecisive nature didn't work for her. And so I think it's both ways that a man also has to be, what's the word that you use?
Adaptive.
He has to be adaptive, because something that worked for me, you think about it, I could have been arrogant, like, man, I got this and this opportunity, this opportunity, this opportunity, this happened. Look at the house and look at the, I got this, I got a phone call. But I was like, bro, it doesn't, a healthy person will put that to the side. It doesn't work for her. She don't like it. And so you may be able to do that with other people, but with her, you can't do it, bro. Because what is it going to do? Push her away, because she doesn't feel seen or heard. Quickest way to do it, man. So I'll let you continue.
I love it. This is a hard one for the women.
Go for it.
A man should look for a woman that is not strictly led by her emotions. Now,
it's funny because it's true.
Go ahead.
now, women, we are full of emotions, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there is a healthy version of having emotions, and there's an unhealthy version of having emotions. You can't, a woman that leads her life strictly by how she feels in the moment will destroy your life as a man. You have a woman, everything she does is purely on emotion. If she's sad, if she's happy, if she feels down, she's mad at her friend, she's mad at you, everything is led by emotions. That means you're going to get cheated on the day she don't like you. That means...
You gotta talk that shit.
That means there's never going to be any type of stability when you come home from work. You're not going to know if she's in a good mood, a bad mood, if she's going to be happy, sad, if she's going to be in the bed, if she's going to be in the kitchen cooking. You don't know.
Yeah.
She's not thinking logically. Now, it's okay to have emotions, but it's finding that balance. You have to have emotions also be logical. And in the moments where you know you're being overly emotional, you need to sit down and have a moment and sit and just think. Don't do anything. Don't make a phone call. Don't write an email. Don't send a text message. Don't do nothing. Just sit there and think.
Yeah.
And then once you get out of your emotions, then you're able to put your logic back in it. And then you can make your decision from there. But a lot of women don't realize how stupid we make ourselves when we purely make decisions off of emotions. When you go out and your ex or whatever he is has a new girlfriend and you're out in the parking lot arguing with her, and that woman don't know who you are or doesn't care who you are,
Right.
you're making your love stuff look stupid off of emotions. And in situations like that, I don't think women realize.
I think when women act off of their emotions, what they don't understand is you're the only one here. Like, they say energy cannot be eradicated. It can only be transferred. And a lot of times, if a woman already knows you, she knows how you operate. She knows how to transfer those emotions to you. But if you're no longer there, you're no longer receptive of what she's doing, then she can't transfer that emotion. She wants you to yell, scream, and cuss her on, so she can't transfer.
It doesn't work.
And she'll try anything she can. She'll bite, she'll scratch, she'll scream, right, metaphorically. And she can't get that emotion out of you. And that energy can't be transferred. And so a lot of women don't understand you're the only one here. Like, honestly, if you women would have that mentality when it came to your emotions, like, I'm angry, he did this, and I'm so mad at him. It's like
Like an angry chihuahua.
right. If I'm looking at you like, then those emotions can't be transferred. And so what makes it worse is if there's more people around. If there's 5 people around watching this, 10 people, 20 people, 30 people, you didn't transfer the emotions. I'm not involved in whatever the fuck you got going on. And so you're the only one here.
Everybody else just looking at you like you're crazy.
Like, you crazy.
You just up there embarrassing yourself.
And to you, like you and said, women go home and replay stuff like, yeah, I did that. I told him this. I told him this. But the reality is, yo, you're the only one that showed up to the gym. The game was yesterday. You missed the game. And
Listen.
you got your basketball. You came in with a basketball on your side. You got a baseball cap on. You got on football cleats and shin pads. And don't nobody know what the hell is going on. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody confused.
Everybody confused. And it's crazy because if it wasn't interesting enough, no one's even going to ask questions after.
Right?
They're just going to be like, yo, remember that crazy lady at the fair that was going crazy? Yeah. And even worse, like, wait, which crazy lady? What happened? Because if no one cares, it wasn't important.
Exactly.
But to people that are attracted to that type of stuff, it's like, I wonder what happened. What was the story? What this is? But for most people who are living their lives, I got a bunch of crap I got to deal with in my own life.
Ain't nobody got time for you.
Nobody got time for you. So take your cleats off, undo the shin pads, shoot the ball because you know it's going to be an air ball anyway, and then just leave. Just leave the gym.
Be regular human beings. Stop embarrassing yourself.
Shut up.
It's not productive to anybody. People just go home and laugh about you later.
They do.
And then move on with their lives. They're still happy.
Yes.
They're still successful. They're still going to live their life like you don't exist.
And guess what? In the heat of the worst argument that we will ever have, the one funny thing we can always bring up is you. It's fucking funny.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
A running joke.
And that's my answer right there.
Listen. It is one of those things where it's funny to me because I'm a woman who I've sat and I've done the work to become a better woman, to heal from my traumas. And I have this level of discernment that God has given me. And women, they say all women have a level of discernment. But over the years, with me growing my relationship with God, that level of discernment has gone up. And I'm not quite sure, I'm still trying to figure out what God wants me to do with that. Mm-hmm. But I look at people, not just women, but in this example, I would say a woman. I look at women, and when they do things like that, and they're in whatever situation they're in, and they're mad, and they're yelling, and they're hooping, and they're hollering, and they're texting, and they're this, and they're that, I see you for what you are. Mm-hmm. And you doing all that isn't helping your case at all. You're making yourself look way worse. And I'm not trying to be mean, but it's you're not making anything better. You're not winning a case. You're not making yourself look okay. You're not making yourself look like you're healthy or you're right, or you're just making yourself look crazy. And it's actually very sad when women aren't able to control their emotions. I have moments where I struggle with controlling my own emotions, but they're not dramatic situations where I'm outside in a parking lot, or I'm outside somebody's school or somebody's house or whatever, screaming and yelling and hooping and hollering. Like, I don't have those type of issues. And if you do, as a woman, you have to get that in check, because that lands people in jail. That gets people out.
Yeah, especially today.
Like, you have to be careful because people are crazy.
And the craziest thing is, like, I've noticed a lot of women have been in or seen themselves in powerless situations, and it's like that's their way of trying to prove themselves, which is extremely weird to me because I don't understand psychologically. Like, when I was coming up in school, if there was somebody that was standing in front of you that wanted to bully you, right, you just got to deal with it. Like, I'd be damned if I was dealing with somebody who wanted to bully me, and then later in life I'm like, well, I'm going to take this out on somebody else. At the same time, I knew how to be level-headed enough in school with somebody who was really trying to pressure to bully me, and it wasn't like super physical. You wouldn't see me like doing anything about it, right? If it became real physical, then it activates me. And so I deal with it head on. I don't understand how people don't deal with it at the time, and that fear kicks in. They're like, well, I'm too scared to deal with this. And then they don't do it later. Like, I was afraid. I remember I told you I was afraid of getting to New Haven And they're like, all right, you get in any trouble up here and we kick you out of school indefinitely. So there were some situations that came up where I was like, I want to do something because, Bridgeport Down would have did it. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to let this go. But even in that moment, I could tell myself, I don't need to defend. I don't need to defend anything. I don't need to do anything. I can leave this moment where this moment is.
Yep.
And to many people in today's time, they never done that. They hold in the anger of somebody that somebody did. And one of the things that kept me sane and knowing, which is weird, like I said, I always see 5 years in the future. I always think ahead. So if it's 2015, I'm at 2020. I could see that people who are in broken situations younger, and I'm getting to my point, I'm like, man, when you get to this age, you're going to be a loser. And that is what kept me level-headed too, and not being funny. I was 100% right of every person that I thought. No offense. Like, bro, you're going to be a loser. And I don't say that in a judgmental way. I say that in a way that you still never made the decision to say, I'm going to choose me. Somebody hurt you to make you like that at that young age.
Yeah.
And you didn't instill that into me. I still said, I'm going to be a successor. I'm still going to do this. I'm still going to strive for this. And so I did. People can't do that. And now you use the example of women. I believe that many women who have found themselves in a powerless situation will get to a point where they're embarrassing themselves when the arguments and stuff in parking lots and they're fighting, and they like the cycle, especially if they started winning fights. They like the cycle because they're still fighting that one person they couldn't fight. And that's where healing and stuff takes place. I think people need to get to the point where they truly understand themselves and say, hey, listen, what happened, happened. And one of the biggest things you can say to yourself is, God let this happen for a reason. And I'm going to figure out why.
Yep.
Once you can say that statement, then you are able to move on and stop treating people like they're expendable. Stop treating people like you're just going to have another saint, right? You on Facebook making posts talking about, God, he sees all. Yeah, he right. He sees yours too. You know what I mean? God is a forgiving God. You right. He forgave the person that already did harm to you. Like, you can't play God as like this thumb or this index finger. You have to heal. You can't put your healing. Oh, thank you, God. You can't focus your healing journey on what you think the other person's going to get. That's not how it works. We watched that episode of 600 Pound Life, and that episode speaks to my heart. God bless Kelly and rest her soul. She had the guy who ended up, abusing her sexually. And when she saw him later in life, she said, man, I wish something bad happened to him. Well, he got struck by a car or something like that and died. A bus got struck by a bus and died. She realized that it didn't help, and it worsened her emotional level, and she ate even more. Now, the craziest part of it is everything in life is a lesson. When she started getting her life right, it was amazing. It was so amazing. Because you started to see, like, she's taking the strides. The trauma is like lightening up. Like, wow, she's healing. But the damage was done to her body over the years, so much so that she still passed away.
Yeah.
And so, and like I said, God rest her soul. I love the journey that she was on. But a lot of you all focus on, and I'm not saying that this was Kelly's situation, but I'm using her as an example to you. A lot of you focus on someone else's healing journey and like, well, if they get theirs and I'll be fine. No, you won't. You won't. And you don't know that. You need to focus on your own journey so that you don't become the lesser part of all this stuff that Ann just said, the lesser part of the woman that a real man is looking for. Because the goal is community. You might want to make money all you want, but it ain't going to mean nothing if you ain't got nobody who cares about you when you're 80 years old.
You burned all your bridges.
Burnt all your bridges. For what? For the one person who hurt you and you still carry that person's name? You remember that trauma like it was yesterday. Got to give it up.
Yeah.
Got to give it up. But we're going to have a part 2 to this episode probably next week, I think. Either we're going to do it right now, full transparency, or we'll do it next week. It's going to be the man side. Matter of fact, I want to get to that today. Because I need to shake a lot of you guys' mental capacity and stuff. You guys are losing. You don't even see it. You don't think so. We're gonna train you to get off the internet. Put your computer down. Put the lotion away. All that stuff. But this is the end of today's episode. All right. Father, we thank you for everything that you've done, Lord. We thank you for the many blessings you've given us, God. We pray that you impart your wisdom onto us, God. We pray that this episode leads us, all of us, when I speak, myself included, and everybody under the sound of my voice, leads us to the river of water so that we can drink it. God, we ask that you provide the women with resources that will change their trajectory. That I pray that women can heal from their traumas, that they would take the route that they were going on and completely change their route to a route of healing, a route of success, a route of happiness, a route of nature, the nature that you provided for us, God. I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. In the name of Jesus, I pray, heal the land as you intended it to be, so we are no longer living on hell on earth. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Where can they find you, Ann?
They can find me.
In the trail. It's going down. Meet me in the mall.
My name is Yvette Renee on all my social media. That's YRV as in Victor ETTE, because I know my name is, and the middle name is RENAE.
And you can find me, Don J, DAHNJAY. You can find me, donj.com. You can find me on any social platform as DAHNJY. And to the people who have been reaching out, I am so sorry. I was supposed to start these courses and everything, but I did not, because I really had to get this live recording out the way. And I had to get this music out and make sure that it was up to par. So please forgive me. We are almost done. And as soon as we're done, I will start on those courses, and I'll start on those live videos and everything you guys need to get you to success, man. My dream is to transfer my success over to you. You can do the same thing. Promise you. I ain't no better than you.
Yeah.
So, and we can also visit theluminous.horizon.org, theluminous.horizon.org. I am in the process, full transparency, of purchasing another domain. It's going to cost me an arm and a leg, but I want to be able to do TLH or something LH something, so that you don't have to type all of that out, because we know a lot of y'all can't spell. We love you. And Redemption Hospital, as you're already listening. But we love y'all. Y'all be easy. Don J, shedding light on limited perceptions as always. Be lit and
Bye.
bye.